a musician, and 2 vlogs ago I talked a bit about things that we should avoid while making music and how to fix those habits. I thought it'd only be fair that we, right now, do a little bit of piano playing and do a similar approach. So I'm going to try and pick out 3 things that I do while I'm reading a piece that I've only played through this once, like 2 weeks ago for fun. So I don't know this well at all. And I figured that would be the most natural way of me showing some bad habits and fixing them along the way. So if that's something that interests you, then I'll see you on the inside. And if you like this kind of format, then let me know and I will make more of these. Okay, let's try. Hey guys, what's up and welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, my name is Nathalie. I'm a musician, as you can see, and today we are going to tackle a couple of problems that we can run into as a pianist and things that hopefully have some easy fixes. We'll see how I get through this, and maybe just for time's sake, as I have a real tendency to ramble, I'll set a timer for like 50 minutes so I don't overtake much of your time. The piece that I've picked is the Largo out of Bach's F minor piano concerto. It's the, how do you say that? Transcription, yes. A Wilhelm Kempff transcription. And 2 weeks ago I just read through this Largo and was like, oh, it's pretty, of course it's pretty music, it's Bach. But then I figured, you know, with pieces that I don't know so well, at the beginning of a process, that's usually when you're struggling, obviously, with like getting through the notes, you're deciphering, you're doing many things at the same time, and then throughout practice, you get way better and you are able to make the music that you want to make. But I thought it would be the most natural way for me to show you some things that you might run into when you're playing the piano, and then hopefully some easy fixes that can make you sound better almost instantly without taking too much of your brain power. So yeah, let's just dive in and we'll see if I smash my head against the wall or if I actually can make it to the end and make this interesting for you. I certainly hope so. And okay, I'll stop talking now. Let's start playing.
A few moments later.
Alright, let me set a timer. This is a little bit like the short series that I do, right, where I sight read pieces and then practice them for 5 or 6 days. I'll do one of those again soon, but not today. Okay, timer is running. And I'll just shut this off so it's not bothering me. Okay. Yeah, that definitely gave me a bit of anxiety throughout. Okay, so first and foremost, I know the melody is like, it's a thing that we as humans in general really tend to, it's something that we can easily pick out. Whereas when we're a pianist, we have the amazing benefit that we have bass and harmony and melody all at the same time. And if there's one thing that you want to focus on in the beginning, it's your bass. Because the bass is basically, it's like, you know, it keeps you together. It's the drummer of the band. It's the, yeah, also in the orchestra, you know, the bass carries everyone. And that's something that you should try and do when you're playing the piano. I know that the melody usually has way more notes, and especially here, and then there's some rhythms that my brain just phased out and I couldn't really decipher in time. But having that bass very steady is something that's going to keep the music flowing no matter what. And that's also something that we should try when we're sight reading things. So let's try this again. I'm going to give a bit more emphasis to the bass. Also, if I don't fully figure out the melody, let's try and keep going and see how that feels. I won't do the whole thing so that we can talk about the other stuff too, but for now, let's see how this sounds. Okay, so what's going on? And then directly, no break. Haha. Okay. I think we fixed it. So let's see, just for these 2 bars. Okay, apart from the fingering in the right hand, it at least felt a lot better. So I don't know if you noticed the difference from the first time that I read through it, but I have a feeling that when I'm focusing more on this bass and this like inner, it makes it a lot easier for me to actually make the music sound like music and not make it sound like I'm reading through a thing that I don't know all that well. A second thing that I'm very much trying to do is staying open with my upper body, and that's something that sometimes works very well, and then when it gets more difficult, as anyone, I think, we have a tendency to go a bit closer to the music. Now, what that does is initially, when you go closer, you're basically cutting off a bit of the natural weight that you have from your head, your shoulders, your elbows. And that weight is what should go straight into the keys and is what makes the sound. There is a huge myth that when we play piano we need to push the keys down, whereas actually, going down on a key, there's no simpler thing because we go with gravity. It's easy. Actually, going up is a thing that goes against gravity, and therefore we are working against a big force. So basically what our fingers want to have is enough resistance, let's call it, to make sure that they don't collapse under all the weight that we have, and make sure that you can make the sound that you want. There will always be a little bit of tension, and if you have a good technique, then hopefully that is here in your knuckles. That's the thing that keeps your hand like this, which is a very relaxed position for your hand. Also easier to move your fingers fast, and not like this, where it takes a lot of work for your tendons and for your muscles, and inevitably that's going to lead you to hurting yourself. So please don't do that. Don't hurt yourself. Just try and remember, when you play piano, you go with gravity. It's easy. It's nice. Keep your hands in a very relaxed position, which is this. It's the perfect position to play piano. And then use your natural weight to fall into the keys. When a key goes down fast, you have a louder sound. When a key goes down slowly, you have a softer sound. So that's, in a brief nutshell, I hope, just how piano playing in its most rudimentary form works, and how you can do some stuff with dynamics. And so let's try and keep open. And I'm gonna especially do that for these last 2 bars here on the first page, and then see how we feel after that. So maybe I'll just go from the middle. Is it, let's see. Yeah, that was the ending of something good. flats, it seems. I was thinking that we were in a different key, which made me play G flats and no D flats for some reason. So. When you get to trills and stuff like that, that's also a nasty thing, and usually, especially if you have a tendency to push, you're gonna go into a wall. So what you want to try and do is, again, have your hand in a very, very relaxed position, which usually if you flop your hands around and you just lift them up, that's your very relaxed hand position. It's very round. And so you want to kind of play with the edge of a key, because here that's the lightest part of the key. It's where the mechanism, has the least amount of resistance for you to work with. And so if you trill over here, it's going to be easier than here. Here it's always going to be harder. So if you can, flirt with the edges of the keys, make sure your fingers are very round, and then use your secret weapon, and that is your wrist. We, at first when we start playing the piano, the first thing that we struggle with is making sure that our fingers work autonomously, that we can move them at will and not all together at the same time. The second step to that is making sure that our wrist can help us out where needed. Our wrists can actually make many, many different techniques easier. Staccato is really just a wrist thing. Your fingers, they have that resistance to get the keys down, and that's about it. Then the shortness of the note is part of the wrist. Also, when you have fluid lines, like in a scale, your wrist can help you go up and down a little bit easier, making sure that your knuckles are apparent, therefore your fingers can move fast, and so it's easier to play fast notes. That's also something like in Chopin etudes, he really wants you to use wrist and elbow circles to make stuff easier. So when you do trills, go to the edge of the key, makes it less hard for you to work with, and use your wrist basically in a little wiggle motion. Of course, your fingers, they might want to be active themselves as well. It changes the sound of the trill, and that's your cool thing as a musician. You can decide what type of sound that you want and what you want to go for. And so having these things help you out can make it way more fun to play trills and not like oh no, trills. I don't know if I can sustain them for a long time. There's this beautiful Bach prelude also. Starts with a trill that's really can be very oh my god. But if you just flirt with the edge of the key and you make sure that your wrist helps you out, you can actually make it work. And for me, this was not tiring at all. It's one movement, and then it's like these little balls that hang from this thing, and you set one in motion and they just keep going. It's time, I'm rambling again. That kind of thing. Once you set the motion in action, the movement itself will keep it going. I hope that I explained that in a semi-reasonable way. Okay, so this was what I wanted to try, and I hope that you that this was helpful to you, and I hope that it was interesting. So basically, what you want to remember when you play the piano, go for your bass! Please emphasize your bass. It's your anchor, and not only yours, but also if you play with other people, they will love you for making sure that your basses are nice and clear, and it will keep everyone together. Yay, everyone happy. Second thing, try and stay open. Use the natural weight of your body. The more you go like this, or that's also probably why some, in the beginning we always talk about trying and have an approximate 90-degree ankle in the elbow over here. Just because then your weight goes straight into the keys. Whereas if you're a bit lower, then you have to go against gravity. If you're a bit too high, then sometimes your weight can just get stuck because your knuckles can't be in the right position. If you're like this, then it's going to be really hard to play. So just basic openness, using your natural weight to help you play. Make sure that your hand is in a nice round position. And then for trills, ultimate tip, be at the edge. Flirt with the edge of your keys, and if possible, let your wrist be out. Okay, I'll just have some more fun with this largo and postpone all the other work that I need to do for 3 upcoming concerts, which is really exciting, but also a little bit daunting. So let's make sure that we still have fun with music. Thanks a lot for watching. Let me know if you like this in the comments and if I should do more of these. Happy to. And also thank you for my patrons. You guys are awesome. If you want to become a patron, link is in the description box below. It'd be really, really nice to have you on board. But thank you for considering anyway. And I'll see you again next time. Take care. Bye bye.